In order,
Make a motion to call the meeting to order.
do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Call to order. Bruce, if you will, lead us in prayer.
That's fine. Lord, we come to you, Father, thanking you for the beautiful day that you blessed us with, Father, for all the blessings of life, Father, that you take care of us. Lord, you know our needs better than we know ourselves, Father. And Lord, we pray, Father, that you will help us at this time to be able to work together, Father, to come together as one. Pray that we can make our city a better place to live, Father. Lord, we pray that you will be with us at this time, Father, as we need rain so desperately, Lord. We pray for the blessings of rain to fall upon us, Father, for all the fires that's throughout the area. Lord, things are really bad. We pray for rain. Lord, we come to you now. Thank you for Jesus. We ask forgiveness of our sins and pray for a home in heaven with you. In Jesus' name we pray.
Pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have the meeting rules and the agenda. Anybody need one? Need approval for some minutes. We have September 19th, 2016 special call meeting, including executive session. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion we approve the special call meeting on September 19th minutes.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. Meetings from October 11, 2016, special called council meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion we approve the October 11th special call council meeting minutes.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? October 11, 2016, special call meeting, executive session minutes. Do I have a motion?
Was it October 11th, the council meeting?
That's the executive session, it's on here separately for some reason.
Oh, it's,
Includes.
we had, I think we had.
Oh, we did too.
The second.
Okay, second meeting for October the 11th, 2016, including executive session.
Okay, I'll make a motion we approve the October 11th regular council meeting minutes, including the executive session.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. October 18th, 2016, special call council meeting minutes, including executive session. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion we approve the October 18th special call council meeting minutes, including the executive session minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. Action item on the agenda, number 5, zoning ordinance, hotel, motel, conditional use, second reading and adoption. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the second reading and adoption of the hotel motel conditional use. Zoning ordinance.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Number 6, zoning ordinance amendment to revise section 3.1 and 24.5, second reading and adoption. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion we approve the second reading and adoption of the zoning ordinance amendment to revise sections 13.1 and 24.5.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. 2017 general election ordinance, first reading. I'm gonna read this ordinance, the first paragraph. An ordinance providing for the 2017 general election for the city of Blue Ridge, Georgia.
We probably have to have a motion for your policy, we gotta have a motion
Okay.
to, so, I'll make a motion that we, allow, Mr. Kendall to, read the general, 2017 general election ordinance.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? An ordinance providing for the 2017 general election for the city of Blue Ridge, Georgia, to provide for a title for said ordinance, to establish and set the date and time for the 2017 general election for all council seats and the seat of the mayor upon the city council of the city of Blue Ridge, Georgia, to provide for the qualifying fees for said positions, to provide for the opening and closing of the qualifying period for said positions, to provide for the appointing of electoral officials, including the election superintendent, the chief register, the absentee ballot clerk, the custodian of voting machines, the chief polling manager, the assistant polling manager, and the deputy register, to provide for the last date of voting registration and for other purposes. So do I have a motion to approve the first reading of the 2017 general election ordinance?
I'll make a motion that we approve the first reading for the 2017 general election ordinance.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Here, ain't you? You like to read.
Need to make a motion.
Can I get a motion for the municipal court prosecuting attorney ordinance, first reading?
I'll make a motion that we allow Angie Art to read the ordinance, first paragraph.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Motion carries.
Okay, this is an ordinance to create the office of prosecuting attorney of the municipal court of the city of Blue Ridge, Georgia, to provide for the appointment of a person as the prosecuting attorney of the municipal court of the city of Blue Ridge, and the requirements for appointment, to provide for an oath of office for the prosecuting attorney, to provide that the prosecuting attorney shall be a part-time position, and any attorney acting as the prosecuting attorney of the municipal court of the city of Blue Ridge may engage in the private practice of law with certain restrictions, to provide a procedure for the appointment of a substitute prosecuting attorney, to provide the duties and authority of the prosecuting attorney, to provide the term of office and to provide for clerical staff for the prosecuting attorney, to require that the prosecuting attorney be a member in good standing of the State Bar of Georgia, and for other purposes.
Do I have a motion to accept the first reading of the municipal court prosecutor attorney ordinance?
I'll make a motion, we accept the first reading.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Okay, one more. Let's see. Can I get a motion to read the alcohol ordinance amendment to revise section 110.45-10, first reading?
I'll
I'll make a motion I'll make a motion for you to read the alcohol ordinance amendment to revise section 110.45-10.
An ordinance to amend alcohol beverage ordinance of the city of Blue Ridge, Georgia. Oh, sorry, got ahead of myself. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Sorry about that. An ordinance to amend the alcoholic beverage ordinance of the city of Blue Ridge, Georgia, to amend section 110.45-10 as to distance prohibition, and to make the distance prohibitations consistent with state law and or other, for other purposes. Do I have a motion?
You're not gonna read it all?
Yeah, that's the first paragraph.
What's the distance?
The distance is, says no malt beverage or wine or both shall be offered or sold, or dispensed by the package within 300 feet of any premises of any school building, college building, school grounds or college grounds, alcohol treatment center or housing authority property. Let's see. No malt beverage or wine, or both shall be offered or sold, or dispensed by the package within 300 feet of any church. No malt beverage or wine or both shall be offered for sale or dispensed by the package within 300 feet of any alcohol treatment center. It's 300 feet.
Are we in discussion now?
Not yet.
Okay.
Let's see. Then it goes on down, this one changes to 600 feet. It says, no distilled spirits shall be offered or sold or dispensed by consumption on the premises pouring within 600 feet of any school building, educational building, school ground, or college campus. And that's the only one that's changed, and I don't know if that's a typo or not, because everything else is 300 feet. Let's see. Set here. Let's see. In order to determine the location, meets all distance prohibitions imposed by ordinance, each applicant for a license shall sell alcoholic beverages shall be accompanied by a scale drawing of the premises for the purpose business, showing the location with respect to all streets within 600 feet in every direction. Such drawing shall also depict the distance from the premises being the front door to the premises being the front door of each church, school building, or other pertinent facilities. All such distances shall be measured by the most direct route of travel on the ground. That's the distance requirements. So do I have a motion on the first reading?
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of the alcohol ordinance amendment to revise section 110-45-10.
Do I have a second? Any discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess my question is, was it 150 feet prior? Are we changing that? Because I had a call from Tanya Bailey, actually, and she wanted to know about the property she has. The property she has listed at the end of Mountain Street, and I understood it was 150 feet.
Just everything.
So the only thing that he's changing is how you determine distance. Is that what he's, okay.
Because before it wasn't specified.
Right.
Was that correct?
There's a thing with the state now that if it's distilled spirits, it's the direct route. If it's malt beverage, it's the direction of travel.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we're not changing distance.
No.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion second, all in favor? Motion carries. Okay, Carter and Sloop, tax release, number 8, water system improvements. This is on the water plant, and I had asked that we hold off on paying them their last draw.
No, this, yeah,
Wait.
that's later. This is for the CDBG
Oh.
grant,
All right, got ahead of myself again.
and it's for
All right.
their engineering for that project.
So that's basically, we gotta approve the tax release.
Yeah.
It's 50, is it 54,000?
Hold on, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's $54,639.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve Carter and Sloop task release number 8 for the CDBG water system improvements.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. All right, parks, Angie.
Make a motion that, have some time to discuss, some things for the park.
Okay. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Okay, I think it was August, we approved to, or the council approved to spend $120,000 or $25,000 for the park. We approved the $97,000 for the big portion of it. So after getting that in and seeing how many people is using it, and just feedback, there's a need for 2 to 5. So, we've still got some money in the, what we budgeted, and I think we need to go ahead and, get the 2 to 5 and put it in its own fenced-in area, right by that. It would be at the end by the, Church Street. That's about a 20, maybe 24 or 22 by 30 area. So, anybody, I'm just gonna make a motion then on this, that we go ahead and add 2 to 5 equipment, spending up to whatever we have left, which is maybe $20,000, if it takes that. So I'm gonna make a motion that we, approve to add the 2 to 5 section of equipment.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion
And
carries.
I have a topic on the park too. I've been approached by several people who would like to see the lights, because, with time changing especially, children are able to use the park at night, so I think we need to get lights around the park area. And I would like to, I don't want to see them destroy though that daffodil area, because we've moved that several times, and that's been a huge point of contention with people. So even with the children's playground equipment, let's try not to move that again, because that was in honor of Holocaust children, so I don't want to see that moved. But if we could get lights and then the children's playground equipment, that would be great.
And then I wanted to say too, I think there's been a little bit of confusion about what's happened here. From a news article, there was stated that we took up $33,000 of landscaping, which that is not the case. So I do want to make that clear, that everybody understands it. And I've had some people ask me about it, during the past 3 weeks of this, getting ready for the installation, the week of the installation, and then afterwards. There's been a few people that's mentioned, well, what was the cost of it? So I've looked back on this, and I want to get the accurate numbers on this. The plant cost, and I've got a new one here from Tree City. The actual plant, the plants was $11,764.67. The sod was $7,559.72. So that total was $19,324.39. The install for all of it was $7,954. So that's a total of $27,278.39. Now, of that, everything's been transplanted. The only thing that could not be salvaged of that was the sod. So there's a portion of, say, sod plus whatever the installation is, you're looking at maybe $10,000 that we may lose. I actually spoke to the man that gave us the grant and at the park, and he did say that if he gave us $10,000 or we spent it on something, that he would want to be, get what he paid for. And but he did say that we've got a list here that we never saw that gave the budget of what this grant was supposed to be spent on. And he did tell me that it was never intended for the playground to go away. It was just intended for there to be beautiful landscaping around and sidewalks around the playground area. But on this budget sheet, it's got demolition site work was supposed to be $12,000, which the city will need to be reimbursed for that because we've done the work for that. It's got so in turn, the city can be reimbursed for that and then turn around and give it back to him for the sod, so it will be a wash on that. The concrete sidewalks was $34,750. The fencing was about $17,000, and signage was $4,500, coming to a total of $21,500. The actual landscaping portion, including the sod, was only $34,500. I make a motion to allow more time.
We get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
And then there's a contingency of $10,500, and then the architect, landscape architect fee is $4,800. That comes to a total of $120,630. So it's not really going to cost us. I mean, if we get paid for the prep work, $12,000 or whatever we put into it, then I believe that's going to cover us reimbursing him back for the sod. So
And there was one more thing too, we also, because I talked to him as well, and he said that the intention of the grant was to beautify the park with beautiful shrubbery, grass, et cetera, around the playground, which was the intention the entire time, whether it be at this end or that end. He also said that he did allow us to include sprinkler system, so I think that was yet another $7,000, so your numbers are off just about $7,000.
well, the sprinkler system actually can be, the heads and stuff can be reused again if we.
I was told they couldn't buy the playground equipment installation people, that they were just in pieces down there, so. But most of the pieces, that it's not operable, obviously it's not operable because it's underneath that.
Well,
you might be able to use the heads. but-
Yeah,
And that's limited, ain't you, so.
well, that's true, but the thing here is whatever the expense is, because it was an unauthorized, we authorized the park to go back where it was. We did not authorize it to be anywhere else.
I was down there with
So-
you when you authorized Donna Whitener to move it to the other end.
No, actually.
So, yes, you
no.
did.
Well, that's
Donna,
been in
you
here
were
there.
there, you did.
Well, it's what the council decides, and so that's what.
Yeah, and
we
you guys
decided.
decided that after
So-
the fact, so, but yeah,
Well, I've got
I
minutes.
think I have minutes too.
Okay.
Well, I think what he would like to do is get a list of everything, possibly from Pam, okay, what exactly was removed, what needs to be replaced, what's died during the process, et cetera. So we need to get a professional to give that to him, and he also wanted to have a new plan, which he said he was gonna talk to you about that. Okay, so okay, good, so he's handling that, so we're good.
Right, and there was dead plants down there also, so, and I've got those on site too, so yes, some may, but either way though, the $33,000 of ripped out was not accurate, so, and if anybody wants to see that.
It was actually more than that, it was 7,000 more than that, so, with your, so, yeah, that was not accurate, she's right. 7,000 more.
I'll make a motion to allow 2 more minutes.
Do I have a second?
Okay, so, I also would like to, go ahead and get the landscaping done, so we can have all this done, so are you going to work with Martin and this
Yes.
guy? And I think that's what I was gonna say, if we need to vote on it, we can, but I think one person, instead of, this person talking and this person talking, I think one person would be the perfect person for that, and then that way, you know exactly what he
So,
wants.
can you talk to them about lights as well, or do we need to vote on
Yes.
that, do you think? Do you all agree with that?
Harold mentioned that to me
It
yesterday.
needs, it needs some kind of lighting,
Yeah.
but that might be something we can talk to Tri-State about and just add it to, get us some
To the
floods or something that's on there.
We've got one out down there right now.
No,
It's not-
they fixed
Well, yeah,
it.
they fixed
Well,
it.
Maybe something.
I mean, I think it's a cheap, easy fix, and I mean, it's probably not gonna be that expensive.
Yeah, it just needs, especially on that back side, and really too, with our security system, you wouldn't be able to see anything from that
And
anyway.
we could always add something on the bathroom there,
Mhm. That's
shining
great.
across the backside, that's something our guys can
Yeah,
hold.
that's a good idea.
So,
Okay.
I'm good.
all the other thing I got on the parks is, Angie, thank you for doing what the council asked you to do, good job.
Well-
Playground looks great.
Thank y'all for allowing me to, thank you.
All right, moving on to number 12, Lemig, Angie.
I believe, well, I'll make a motion that we take this off, because we don't need to talk about it.
Okay. It's,
What is LMIG?
Well, I would like to, I'll just make a motion that we have discussion on it.
It's a local maintenance and improvement grant.
I'll make a motion,
From the state.
I'll make a motion that we, have discussion on Lemig.
okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Okay, now I'm gonna ask you, Rodney, to discuss what we need to discuss today. So we'll all be on the same page on this.
Well, from my understanding, this is what, Alicia had gave us, and this is kind of revised, and she wants us to use, 14, 15, and 16 on East Main Street. And then after that, use the 17 and splash money to, do other street improvements.
So 2014 also on East Main Street?
14, 15, and 16. Second to last sheet here.
Okay.
Because first we talked about, when I talked to Alicia earlier, about using 15 and 16 because it's already earmarked, and using 14 for just doing some small projects. That's only going to give us somewhere around 20 to 25,000 to try to do some street projects with.
This is what Donna has suggested too, I think after.
Well, the only reason, I thought I remember her saying that we're gonna have to use 2014 to get 16. So do we,
I think they worked that out.
She-
I think,
yeah,
I think Mayor White's worked that out.
Well, Lisa talked to him today, and that was worked out. So-
okay, so we can use 2014, 15, and 16 on East Main Street, and then when can we apply for application due to 30 days? Okay, so we still got plenty of time for 2017.
So, yeah, we gotta have it done by December.
All right, yep, that works then. Okay, that's all.
So the only thing that's not earmarked, maybe we need a motion on, is go ahead and earmarking, the Lemig for 2014 for East Main Street. Because the other two is already earmarked for East Main Street.
We'll need a motion to change the location of 14 to East Main. Because right now it's on West First, West Second, and River Street.
Okay.
So can I get a motion to move that to East Main Street?
I'll make a motion that we, move the 2014 Lemig money, from, West First, West Main, and River Street to East Main Street project.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Oh, sorry, this is what I jumped ahead on a while ago. Number 13, water line, replacement project. Can I get a motion to discuss that?
I'll make a motion, we discuss the water line replacement project.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? This is the water line replacement, down, East Main Street, down to Hall Street. It's actually, they've got a section line there that needs to be replaced. It's, from Church Street past Rhonda's to the street across from the old Boy Scout building, if you know where that is. It's the last street that cuts uphill, right there going up beside the train. And there's a line there, why they stopped there, I don't know. But years ago, they put in line 2 there, but they didn't continue on up and finish replacing the line up to Church Street. So this is we've talked about this before, Carter Schultz has been working on it. And he just, needs to go ahead with phase 1.
Have we, I mean, is this funded through some kind of grant or some kind of RCBDG, or is it just something we're doing on our own?
It'll be on our own.
It's coming out of the water, it's coming out of water, the surcharge and stuff. for-
Is that what is that what that price of like $55,000 was for the pipes and stuff? Is that what it was, Kelsey?
Which one?
I think she's thinking about that
Hmm.
first. Oh, it's, is it?
No, that's
something
on,
else.
that's on that last one we discussed.
I think, and that has been a huge problem down there, because a lot of the residents have yellow water.
Yeah, and
That's-
that takes, phase 1 takes care of that section there, and then the next one goes in front of Rhonda's, or beside Rhonda's, across the railroad tracks, which we're working on the permits for that now, and then turns and goes up up West Main Street.
Okay.
And then the next phase is going up the hill and taking care of Top Street.
Yeah, because there's a lady that came in, with a bottle of water that was the color of that pumpkin there, that was our regular reddish like that, and she lives up on, West First Street.
The reason we broke it up like this is Becky had suggested break it up so we make sure we've got the funding to move forward. So we have the funding to go ahead with the first portion, then when we get it done, then we can do the second portion, and hopefully by mid-year next year, we'll have the whole section, all 3 phases done.
Just kind of a necessity, we have to do it.
It really all depends on weather, and we just need to move forward, so.
Okay, so we just need to approve to go forward with that section.
With phase 1.
We need to approve, holiday extension, which is what you recommended.
Yep.
And we need to approve if we want to go with just labor quote that they gave, or labor and materials, which, Matt had recommended that we just do labor and the city purchase the materials, that way we make sure we get it tax exempt.
So you want to do that all in one motion? Okay, I'll make the motion that we go ahead and go forward with phase 1 of the water line replacement project, allowing, accepting Jeff Holloway to do the labor, and for the city to go ahead and authorize the purchase, the materials for the job. That's everything, correct? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. All right, CDBG, the Steely firm, invoice number 600, and drawdown request number 1/KL. This is, let's see, it was,
This is just needs a motion to approve that.
yeah,
Was it,
it was what we owed her, and then there was something left over, wasn't there, Kelsey? Or was it?
Yeah, she's requesting that the first drawdown request include her invoice for the $5,625 and to leave $5,000 in the account for other purposes if something were to come up. Because we're getting this grant funds from DCAs. The extra $5,000 is just to leave in the account.
So do you want to do that in 2 motions?
Is it specified in the thing that exactly like you said, if we approve the invoice number 600 and drawdown request number 1? Does she specify that in there?
Yeah, if you look at the drawdown request, it specifies, we don't have them. I'm sorry,
None of us have it.
it does specify that the 5,625 is to be paid from her, and then the 5,000 is just to remain in the account.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the invoice number 600 in drawdown request number 1, which pays $5,600 to Angela Steely and leaves 5,000 in,
5625.
I'm sorry, $56.25 to Angela Steely and leaves 5,000 in the account.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Kendall Supply invoice number 209100903, Jifa Loan. This is, drawing blank, do you remember?
Yes, this is for the GFIR project, and we've already approved it. We just haven't approved Kendall to do the work and to provide the materials.
That is $176,654.
Yes.
And where's this at again? Is this Orchard Boulevard or where's this at?
This is for, the meter.
This is meter replacement.
Oh, okay.
This is that thing that we do keep doing until we get them all changed
Okay.
out.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll make a motion that we approve the Kendall Supply invoice number 209100903 for the GFO loan.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Water treatment plant final drawdown request. We had asked that we hold off on the last drawdown request until they got some things fixed, and we don't want heavy construction pulling out before that happens. They're looking at being, they're meeting at the 29th of this month to be around the time they will ask for their final drawdown. They have made leaps and bounds progress in getting the list that we made knocked out. Our secondary walkthrough, we had very little, most of it was cosmetic things here and there that needed to be fixed that they've been working on. I talked to Matt today, and Matt said he felt comfortable with going ahead and allowing them to get their final drawdown when they request it. I haven't had a chance to talk to Tim, he's on vacation. So however you want to do it, if you want to leave it to Tim to authorize it, or if you want to go ahead and authorize it, I think we're at a point to where we can authorize it.
Well, then I'll just make a motion that we approve the water treatment plant final drawdown.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. All right, Fannin County and Joint City Comprehensive Plan. I talked to Ms. Gretchen with the Northwest Georgia Regional Commission today, and Donna had said, you know, we need some projects, this and that. When I talked to her, she stated that that would be great if we wanted to do that, but that's what our stakeholders are for. She just needs a list of stakeholders, and she said she would like to have those by Friday. So we have 9, did you say confirmed?
Yes, I think it was 9 confirmed.
Yep, 9 confirmed, and I asked her if we were only limited to a certain amount, and she said, no, we're not. That she had give us 15, but if we needed more, that would be great. That we just needed people to show up and give ideas. So the county and McCaysville, they're doing the same thing. So if you know anybody else that's interested, get their name to Kelsey, and we need to confirm that by Friday to get that to her. Their first meeting will be in December, the first part of December, and that's gonna be their hearing, and then their actual first, or no, the 18th is the hearing, and the 1st of December was the first stakeholders meeting, 6th, so we need to get those in there. She said if we wanted to make a list, that would be great. So, whatever y'all wanna do, that's just some FYIs. Moving on to number 18, Cesar Martinez.
Hey Caesar, you'll have to turn the mic on.
Oh.
Hello, okay. Just a couple updates and then I'll let you know a little bit about what's going on at Blue Ridge. General meeting last month was great. I want to thank those of you who showed up and talked about streetscape. I think we're on a long way to ease a lot of the merchants in downtown's minds about what's going on. I do know that during that meeting, we talked about having a couple of town hall meetings regarding that. Have those been scheduled yet?
I asked Donna today, and she is still trying to coordinate with Matt and so she's trying to get all together at the same time. So she's hoping by the end of this month, though, and then have another one in December.
So one by the end of this month?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, that's her goal. And I think she's just waiting to hear from Matt on that too, so he can be here as well.
Okay. Those of you who may have gone down for Halloween, it was another great Halloween event put on by the Business Association. Chief Searcy said there's probably about 4,000 people in town, so it went over really well. So again, thanks for your support on that. Light Up Blue Ridge is coming up in just over 2 weeks, and there's a lot of things going on with that. First of all, the parade's been moved up from last year's noon to 10 a.m. this year, so the parade's going to start at 10 a.m. Santa and Mrs. Claus, it's probably the first time you've heard that this year so far. Santa and Mrs. Claus, I think, are going to arrive on the antique fire truck. I believe that's what's going on. So someone asked me whether or not the fire truck's working. So I just wanted to ask. Do we know?
It is?
It is, okay.
Yes, I think Tony brought it by the other day, so.
So it is, okay, good. So that's one thing I need to ask. The other thing that is kind of exciting for some of you who may know country music is we signed a headliner to be performing. Her name is Jamie O'Neill. Do you know who Jamie O'Neill is? Okay, so she's gonna perform. Performances, we have acts starting at around noon that go all the way through about 7 o'clock. So right after the parade's through, they're going to start on entertainment downtown. And we are also setting a stage up down by where the tier thing is at the end, kind of at the end by Mount Street, where that is, those tiered things. We're going to put a stage there. We're going to have some acts perform down there so some of the crowd can come down the streets and all being up at the one end. The other thing that we're doing is we've moved the gingerbread contest, the gingerbread house contest is moving out of the senior center over here to Hampton Square. So there's a big room back in the Hampton Square. So in the front part, they're going to have the drop-off point for Toys for Tots. It's the first time we're incorporating Toys for Tots into the event. And then right behind that is where the gingerbread houses will be for everybody to see. I also want to let you know that the chamber is going to foot the bill for the 14-stall trailer for porta potties for the event. So that's going to be, I think we're going to put this in place, or try to put it before. So I want to do a call out to the chamber for doing that. That's like a $2,800 bill. So that was really good. I have one other request, and that is the city has a golf cart right here somewhere. We were wondering if we could use it to ferry Santa and Mrs. Claus from their gazebo station to a rest station in between what they're doing, if we could do that.
It was used.
Well, you know, they've used it for the election lately, so, in fact, they called me today and asked if we could pick that up, and I'm not sure if they did or not, but they did good.
It just needs to be cleaned.
So I don't think we had a city, we didn't have anyone in the city using it or driving it. So I don't know what the liability is.
I didn't recognize it.
Yeah, I didn't either. But let us find out. I'm sure that wouldn't be a problem with you guys, is it?
Good, great. So that's really all I have. Is there anything the business association can do for you?
Just keep doing what you're doing.
Good job.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, everyone is.
All right, number 19, Mr. Bill Ryan.
On the drainage, I met with your engineer, what's their name, Sloop? Carter and Sloop. And I had a half-hour meeting with him here one day, and we discussed kind of a stopgap measure in the back of, I don't know, is that your property, Rhonda, or is that your husband's property, or both of yours?
If it's his, it's
Oh,
mine.
okay. Well, I don't wanna say it's David's property or your property, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he seemed to think because they're gonna eliminate that drain box up on the major project up at the other end, that it wouldn't pose a big problem. And I said to him, well, how do you know that? Because we don't know where the water's going on East Main Street now. And he says, you're right. He said they tried to run cameras through some of those drains and they couldn't find where they were going. And so there was definitely an if question there. Either it runs all the way down the street, runs out the drains, but it runs somewhere. So he said though that he thought that the choke is on that property. That's where it makes the big bend. It converts from an open culvert into a box, an open ditch into a box culvert. It goes halfway across the property, and then it kind of like goes to corrugated pipe there, and the corrugated pipe runs somewhere to the front, and then it makes another abrupt turn that I didn't know about, going towards the street. And he seemed to think, and I don't know if he had spoken to you guys about it, but he seemed to think that it would be advantageous to everybody if they could eliminate all of that in the back. Where it's the drainage ditch now, put a catch box there, redirect that water towards East Main Street, make another catch box at East Main Street, and then direct it straight down to the stream. And he seemed to think the city employees could do that job. So this is what he said to me. I mean, he's really a bright guy, and he seems to know what he's talking about.
He had mentioned
Maybe
that.
he knows more than I do.
He had mentioned that too, so.
Yeah, and I thought that would be at the very least, I think it would be a good idea, just because it's always been the capture is at that place. You know, it doesn't have any place to go. You've got all these huge culverts. You've got 4 foot, 8 foot, 3 foot. Then all of a sudden you got a 36-inch culvert pipe. And all the water is finally collected at. That it just can't make it. So I thought that was interesting, and I think maybe something that you guys could come up with over the course of the year, and maybe get that done. I guess in certain times of the year, the city employees have a little less to do, or than other times of the year. I think that you could justify that, and that certainly would, I think it would help the problem, because he says the rest of it is gonna be rather expensive. I mean, he wasn't talking the $450,000 that we had already talked about. It was $750 or more. So, to make it a lifetime kind of situation where you wouldn't have to be revisiting it for another 50 or 100 years. So it was a very good meeting, and I appreciate it. Ms. ARPA set it up for me, and it worked out real good. I liked it. What's the other thing I was going to say? This may be off my topic, but I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it plain and clear. Half the time at these meetings, you can't hear anybody. They turn their heads away from the microphone routinely, not to hear you, I guess. The clerk, I haven't heard a word she said. Nothing. And I'm not, I mean, this is a public meeting. We're supposed to be in on what's going on. And you can have what they call them, these PGAs and MGA. They're not very definitive as to what the topic of conversation is about. And how is the public supposed to know what you're talking about? Do you have a list of this paperwork, or how do you get it? Or?
It's on, council puts it online on our website.
Oh, so I can see it on my website? Okay, yeah, okay. Well, I'm just saying it because it really, to somebody who just walked in here, I think it's a big stop for people not to come to the meeting. They sit here for half an hour, they don't understand, they can't hear, and why would you want to come back? I mean, I have a vested interest in why I want to be here, but, so that's all I want to say. Thank you very much.
Do we need an executive session? Would anybody like to make a motion?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Do we have a second? Discussion? All in favor? Meeting adjourned. You want to ask a question?